Hello there, everyone. Welcome into the season finale of the OUA Basketball Show. I am very sorry about the delay in getting this episode to you. Wish it could have happened sooner, but there were some tech difficulties. We wanted to make sure also that we got a great guest for you guys for our season finale. So it's here now, better late than never. But it's always great no matter what time. That is, of course, a nice, refreshing bottle of BioSteel. And if you've watched this show, you know that BioSteel is redefining sports hydration. And as the official hydration partner of the OUA, they're supporting the next generation of Canadian athletes. Their zero sugar, high quality products help athletes perform at their best. Check out biosteel.ca/OUA for more info. Welcome back to the show, you guys. It's been a while, of course, since we had the show on. We got to talk about some OUA championships in case for some reason this is the only way you get your OUA basketball information. I want to make sure that now you're going to get it. Better late than never. The University of Ottawa GGs are double OUA champions. That is the big headline to come out of the Wilson Cup and the Critelli Cup a few weekends ago. We'll start on the women's side. The women ended Carleton's undefeated season as they took down their arch rivals 70-61 in the Critelli Cup final. Natsuki Suzuki put up 22 points. Emily Payne had a 13-point, 12-rebound double-double, and Bailey Russell chipped in 13 off the bench to bring Ottawa to the top of the mountain. Congratulations to them. What a phenomenal season and a well-deserved OUA championship. Over on the men's side, the GGs took down the Queens Gaels 95-87 to win the Wilson Cup. They withstood 52 combined points from the dynamic Gaels duo of Lucas Silas and Ollie Engen, and they won that championship off the back of a massive effort from Dustin and Jacques Tejore. The third-year forward out of Gatineau, Quebec, led the way for the GGs with 29 points, added on 6 rebounds for good measure, was helped out by a rock-solid Brock Newton, who put up 16 points and 8 rebounds. So with those championships for Ottawa in the books, the OUA sent 4 teams all the way out to British Columbia to compete in the 2 Final 8 national championship tournaments. Ottawa and Carleton went out for the women, while Ottawa and Queens represented Ontario on the men's side. Why don't we start with the women, where Ottawa beat Laval in the first round, while Carleton cruised past Bishops. That set up a 4th meeting between those two incredible programs. Carleton, of course, won the 2 regular season matchups. We just talked about Ottawa winning the Critelli Cup. The Ravens get their revenge. They take a huge first half lead and never look back against Ottawa. They win 84-60 in the national semifinals. Teresa Donato, Tatiana Burke, Natalie Francis, and Jacqueline Urban are all in double figures for the Ravens as they move into the national championship game. Ottawa was able to win their bronze medal game against UBC as Ali McCarthy exploded for 20 points to secure some hardware for the GGs at the end of yet another phenomenal season. Over in the national championship game, Carleton looking for the three-peat, can't quite hang with the Saskatchewan Huskies on that fateful Sunday. Gage Grassick hangs 35 points on the 2-time defending champion Ravens, and the Huskies recapture the bronze baby, one of the great Can West programs. Congratulations to them. Over on the men's side, Queens unfortunately dropped out in the first round after a close-fought game against the University of Calgary. That ended their chance at a national medal, but they still got the OUA silver medal, something to be very proud of. But Ottawa takes down Concordia to move into the semifinals, where they dropped a tough one to the eventual national champions UVic. GG's bounced back in the bronze medal game, however, with a good win over UPEI 86-70. And I talked about we wanted to wait a little longer to put this episode out because we wanted to make sure we got a great guest for you guys. And boy, did we ever. He was one of the biggest stories in the entire OUA this year. I was thrilled to sit down with Ollie Engen. And my final guest of the year is one of the biggest stories in the OUA and all of U Sports this year, Ollie Engen of the Queens Gaels. Ollie, thank you so much for coming on the OUA Basketball Show.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, well, it's been great to have you. It's been great to watch you all season long. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that you have had a historic, incredible season. It's been so fantastic to watch this develop. You came out of the gate so hot, and you proved that it was something permanent. If you had to look back on the year that you've just had, how would it be possible to sum it up? How would you sort of recap that year?
I would say it's a little bittersweet. I mean, we had a year that I don't think people were expecting us to have, and um, I'm really proud of the way this team, kind of came together and found a way to be successful despite what people might have thought would be a down year for Queens. And I say bittersweet just because of we didn't end up with the ultimate goal, but to sum it up, I wouldn't have picked a better group to be around, a better team to be on, and I'm really really grateful for the opportunity to be in this space and to be on this team.
Yeah, you're coming to us fresh off a trip out to BC for the final eight. Obviously, the games didn't go the way you guys quite wanted, but you were telling me it was still a great experience to get in there in your first year.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I really enjoyed that experience over there, and I've definitely been able to take some little pieces of national experience that hopefully I can use in years to come, and bring to the team. Um, but the thing that I enjoyed the most of that trip was just getting to spend time with the guys. It's this team. Our team was incredibly close this year, and that's what we would have been doing if not in BC. So it was really nice to be able to experience that with them.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you guys are such a tight knit group. I want to talk about you a little bit here. You walked into one of the very proud OUA basketball schools in Queens on as a day one starter, and you immediately led the team in scoring. You shot over 50% from the field. You were an OUA first team All Star as a rookie. When you were starting the season, did you realize that university basketball was going to be this easy, or was there still some stuff that surprised you?
You know, when the season started, I definitely felt a little kick in the teeth in terms of the it's much more physical than any basketball I'd
Mm.
played in high school, and going from playing against high schoolers to playing against grown men. It was nothing that I was um, overly worried about, but it definitely took a little adjustment. But um, I was always confident in my abilities and just kind of stayed true to the way I know I could play, and um, was able to be successful doing that. So
That's great to hear. I got a quote from Coach Barry here that I took from the Queen's website. So shout out to the staff at the Queen's website. He said, Ollie has a relentless desire to get better and has earned his success by putting in countless hours into his development. Can you tell me a little bit about like your work ethic and what fuels you to get better? Like what makes Ollie Engen push to improve?
for me, it's always any desire I've had in basketball has always just come from the love that I have for it. I mean, I wouldn't rather do anything else. Basketball means the world to me, and it makes it easier for me to be able to, go into the gym every day and um, push myself to levels that I didn't think were capable. And I really learned that this last summer coming to Queens, just how hard um, I'm able to push it and to be able to um, really chase being my best. And, Queens gave me a great environment for it to kind of foster that desire that I've had um, for the last however many years, um, and I just look to keep that going. It's always for me. It's always been about the work, and I don't see any other path for me to be able to be my best. So yeah.
That's fantastic, man. That sounds like the right attitude to me. You would, I don't know the first thing about being an elite athlete, but it sounds to me like you've got it figured out there. Um, you helped lead Queens to a Wilson Cup final and a Final Eight appearance. It certainly didn't look like you were intimidated by the playoffs at all. I was very curious to watch, the first year guys' first taste of playoff basketball. Was playoff basketball different to you than regular season basketball, or was it just a continued evolution?
You know, I there's definitely you definitely get that feeling that the stakes are higher, and the biggest difference that I noticed was just the environments. Like playing in a semifinal at the Arc was like nothing I'd ever done before, and you know I really cherished that moment, being able to play in front of a packed out crowd, especially in Kingston, where I see a lot of faces that I've seen growing up, and um, that excitement and that school spirit kind of made playoffs that much more exciting for me, um, and I enjoyed the higher stakes. I found it, it makes it more exciting, and it means more, means more.
Absolutely. The Arc, one of the best places to watch a basketball game in all of Ontario. Just such great fans there. And you guessed my next question, actually. You're making this easier on me. You're a Kingston guy. You've had such an incredible season. Does it mean even more to you the fact that you're doing it with the tricolor on, that you're doing it as a Queen's Gale? Like, how much did that mean to you growing up and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, watched a lot of games growing up, and I feel that being in Kingston is was one of the main reasons as to why I came to Queens. And it really is special to, like I said, be able to look out and see so many familiar faces, and to be able to go and hug my parents right after every game, um and my brother, and be able to see all these people, and the thing that I'll say about the Kingston community is it is a support system like I've never experienced anywhere else, and um, for all of those people that are always in the Gaels corner, I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, such a great sports city, such a great basketball city, and we keep seeing great players coming out of Queens, of which you seem to be the next one. Just before I let you go here, because we got to get you to class. Your first year as a student athlete, I'm sure that's been difficult to balance. You're going into, excuse me, you're going into an off season here where you'll have a chance to continue to work and to grow. What can we expect from Ollie Engen next season?
Um, for me, this summer is a big summer in terms of working on playmaking and figuring out how to run a U Sport team. Um, and on top of that, really, really trying to hone in on my 3-point shooting and be able to turn that into a strength. Um, most for me this summer is about once we get the guys back is about figuring out what we can do to give ourselves the best chance to win next year, and um, we know that started as soon as the our last game finished, and I'm can't wait for that process.
Well, that's great to hear, Ollie. It's been such a phenomenal season. Congratulations on all of the awards. We didn't even touch on the U Sports Rookie of the Year or anything like that, but I hope that means a lot to you because it's an incredible achievement and you should be very proud. I can't wait to watch you next year. I can't wait to watch Queens next year. Have a great off season, and we will see you in the fall. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to you again next season.
Yeah, for sure. Really appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, appreciate you making the time. Thanks again. A huge thank you to Ollie Engen for being our final guest of the season. It was great to talk to him about his fantastic rookie year. He was one of the storylines that we were watching all year long, so I thought he would be a perfect way to end this season. And I was right. Oh, and by the way, that brings us now up to 4 out of 5 OUA All Star first teamers in both men and women. So nothing but the best here on the OUA Basketball Show. Speaking of, that brings our third season of doing this to a close. Thank you to each and every one of you who tuned in, whether you just tuned in for this delayed season finale or whether you tuned in every week. I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. All of our incredible guests, a huge thank you to each and every one of them. Really appreciate those busy student athletes taking the time to talk to me so that I can show all of you. My last thank you, and one of the biggest, goes to Chris over at the OUA. He is so easy to work with, and he makes doing this show a lot of fun. It's great work with everyone over at the OUA, and I'm very, very lucky to get to do that. One more last thank you to all of you for tuning in. It means the world. And have a great summer. We'll see you in the fall for season 4 of the OUA Basketball Show. Can't wait.